So now we gotta evacuate the building and not burn. Oh shit. And no one is evacuating, so we're gonna go to the stairwell. And we're down to 15 now. And as you can see, everyone is evacuating as they're supposed to be. Hong Kong is all about safety. Safety!
We're gonna be like the really white people out there.
Oh, a bit of a maze.
Holy shit. I was gonna do this eventually.
Hey, look, we're about to evacuate.
Actually do it now.
Well, it's an alarm, but it's like. Yeah. Hello. Does it look fake? So there's a lesson. When you hear that bell, get the fuck out of the house. Looks like tomorrow the shopping mall will be out of business. The stores, they came in.
Can I help? What is it?
Oh, I live right there. Yeah. Evacuate. Ooh, wet. Yeah.
你知道講咩㗎？你聽到我講咩啊？
啊？
你知道講咩？你知？
哦，我聽不懂，你會說？
哦，
你講國語嗎？
哦，聽得國語。
啊，發生了什麼？
哦，
是
小火，小火。啊，很小的火。啊，
多謝，
多謝
你的幫助。
Oh, home sweet fire trap.
Hollywood Road in Hong Kong's Sheung neighborhood is a great place for a stroll. Around Chinese New Year, people can buy handwritten festive banners, which then are hung on doors and walls and bring good fortune to the superstitious owners. Nearly 170 years old, Man Mo Temple is a tiny sliver of old Hong Kong which managed to survive in between all the new development. People gather here to worship the god of literature, Mantai, and the martial god, Mortai. The temple is open to public on a daily basis, and a visit here is definitely a trip to old China, not only for the history and the art, but also for the smoky air, as the interior is thoroughly fumigated by the never-ending supply of incense sticks and coils burning everywhere. Just outside the temple, you can find some more bits and pieces of old China, as the nearby Lascar Row, also known as Cat Street, is a congregation of antique dealers, curio merchants, and art galleries. A large number of Indians serving in the British military lived near Lascar Street, and soon enough the street turned into a bazaar. In the 1920s, this evolved into a market for antiques and second-hand items, but then became a market for stolen goods. In Cantonese, stolen items are called rat goods, and the people who buy them are called cats, hence the name Cat Street. While today the goods aren't necessarily stolen, they aren't bargains either. This street is very popular with self-described antique collectors, but it's just absolutely chock full with fake crap of no value whatsoever, as mainland China pretty much specializes in manufacture of whatever antiques are the flavor of the week. They'll churn out old coins, statuary, and all this stuff will look quite real. Coin collectors have virtually no hope of getting anything good. I mean, look at this coin. That is just crap. Vendors in all of these stores are pretending that their stuff is real, but meanwhile it's all full of reproductions or just outright kitschy fake shit. But average Joe tourist does not have a clue what they're looking at, and some people do fall for the enormous profits that they could make here. So my advice would be to not buy any of this crap, because it really is just knickknacks for the masses. Not all stores here peddle fake crap, as there are a good number selling genuine articles, but the price tags make purchases prohibitive to the likes of me, and with art in general, and antiques in particular, you better know what you're getting into. The length of Hong Kong Island can be traversed using trams. For $2 you can spend a few minutes or a whole day riding between Kennedy Town and Shao Ki 1. A ride which is not particularly fast, but definitely interesting, as you see the daily life outside and slightly below your awesome, if a bit shaky, viewing platform. I recommend the front seat, both for the views and for the ventilation, as it does get quite stuffy here on hot days. If you get bored with trams and need a classier cultural experience, you can visit St. John's Cathedral, which is tucked away just behind the HSBC building near the Bank of China Tower. Nothing is classier than a visit to the House of God. Real God, because that Chinese temple was bullshit, everyone knows that. God loves classical music, but even heathen trespassers like myself are allowed to pop in at no charge, which is reasonably nice. My presence in the church was bound to result in a lightning strike, but seeing that it was a brilliantly sunny day, I thought the risk was low. In any case, there are better ways of getting closer to heaven, and hiking a mountain is one of them. Today, I'm hiking McLeod's Trail up to the top of Tai Mo Shan, Hong Kong's highest peak. But it's a fairly low grade and visibility is not very good today, so it's not so much about the views from the summit as much as having a little bit of nature and exercise. The path essentially parallels the access road that was built in order to construct some telecommunications towers on top of the mountain, and I'm already hearing loads of people shouting and screaming and making other noises, so I guess it's not going to be a solitary experience. At 957 meters above sea level, Tai Mo Shan, literally Big Hat Mountain, is the highest peak in Hong Kong. Made of volcanic rock, the shrub and grass covered mountain is the coldest and wettest place in the territory, often sprinkled with frost in winter and receiving up to 30% more rain than other parts of Hong Kong. On clear days it offers superb views, while on misty days it often pokes right out of the top of the clouds. The summit hike takes a couple of hours, and it is only a few kilometers of easy path. Security checkpoints are necessary because the summit is home to a military facility with heaps of communication equipment, as well as a big white ball of the Tai Mo Shan Doppler radar. This radar installation has a range of 500 kilometers, and with frequent typhoons making landfall here, it helps Hong Kong brace itself for bad weather, but unfortunately it also keeps the hikers off the summit. The nature experience is largely over, as the trail now follows the access road right after a security checkpoint. But in any case, it is a great hike. You score some clean air, well, relatively speaking, and get to see some critters. You don't always have to escape into the mountains to get out of the concrete jungle of Hong Kong, as there are a great many dinky little places where time slows down. Saikung, on the east side of the new territories, is one such place. Saikung began its development as a marketplace about 100 years ago, when the area became a convenient gathering spot for fishermen and villagers. Today it is a mecca for seafood lovers, locals and tourists alike, as the town has a lot to offer. People come here to rent boats for joyrides and fishing trips, explore the tiny alleyways, or go hiking. Because of the slower pace and natural setting, Saikung is known as the back garden of Hong Kong. Hong Kong has a voracious appetite for seafood. Nearly 600,000 tons of seafood get consumed here every year, which averages out to 77 kilograms per person. This is 4 times the global average and double the per capita consumption of mainland China. Hong Kong is the largest per capita consumer of seafood in Asia and 6th largest in the world. All this crab munching has a massive environmental impact, and in 2007 Hong Kong joined the Seafood Choice Initiative, which has a goal of providing credible information on the impact of consumption of seafood commonly available here, as well as to encourage consumers and the seafood industry to behave in favor of sustainable consumption. Furthermore, Hong Kong is promoting the Marine Stewardship Council, which is an independent, non-profit local organization that certifies fisheries which use sustainable practices. Change always comes slowly, but it comes, and one hopes that once Hong Kong adjusts its food practices, mainland China will follow suit.